To me, what you just saw there was a president who was in almost complete control. I mean, it's just an extraordinary moment, the amount of deference from these titans of industry from around the globe, essentially giving the president everything he wants. I mean, Brian Moynihan there dodging the president criticizes Bank of America for allegedly not banking conservatives, and Brian Moynihan just kind of takes it and says thank you, and hey, we're getting ready to sponsor the Olympics. Trump demands OPEC lower prices, increase output. He tells everybody, listen, if you want to build in the U.S., that's great. Otherwise, we're going to tariff you. And the response is essentially applause. So an extraordinary dynamic where you just sort of see the degree to which global, the real power players who are all collected in Davos there are giving him an extraordinary amount of deference.
We were talking to Nathan Dean of Bloomberg Intelligence before, about last 2 hours, and said that he was looking for the confrontational or negotiator President Trump. If we parse him in those ways, which Trump did you just see?
I mean, sounded pretty confrontational to me, essentially saying, listen, if you don't build here, we're going to jack tariffs up on all of you. He criticized the EU. He takes a quick shot at Bank of America. He goes after OPEC. He also tells a story which is not 100% true on the issue of denuclearization. That part at the end, talks with Russia and especially China were essentially at a standstill at the end of his first administration on the idea of denuclearization. So very much in keeping with the president, where he is obviously in his milieu, feels very comfortable, but has no qualms about being extremely confrontational, presumably in part because he knows the response he's going to get, which is essentially applause and in some cases a little bit of awkward laughter, but there at the end, a hope that he'll come in person next year.
Nick, a lot of questions on Ukraine and the ability of the U.S. to play a role in ending that conflict here. What's the feeling within your realm, national security, about the role the U.S. can play and maybe the timing associated with it?
Well, the timing is obviously quite unclear. The president had said before he came into office that this was something he was going to be able to do to solve before Inauguration Day or within 24 hours. That obviously hasn't happened. What we've understood is that officials within the administration are recognizing the enormity of the task and that it may take some time. And that was one element I thought was quite interesting from President Trump, where he essentially said there, listen, this is something that is the ball is in President Putin's court. You know, he's saying Ukraine is ready to come to the table. So he can act very much as a point of leverage and a pressure point. But whereas before the inauguration, there was a lot of focus on Ukraine and his transition team saying really that Ukraine needed to come to the table, they're now really trying to put the pressure on Vladimir Putin. So though he's essentially saying he wants to talk to Putin, he respects him, I did see some more pressure there that this is really in Russia's court to kickstart the negotiations. But in terms of timing, they're really not willing to say at this point.